AOC has been out there on this, I don't know if it's campaign trail, I don't know what we're calling it, but this like fight the oligarchy tour with Bernie Sanders, from which, venue to venue, she travels first class, sipping her champagne, in the first class cabin as the losers and plebs walk by to coach. They're the ones she's really fighting for. And she's decided to ramp up her anti-Trump rhetoric in a way she's done before, but that could be deeply problematic for her if Trump actually decides to pay some attention to her. Listen to her just the other day.
Yes, AOC is in trouble. Trump might be suing her soon because she said something repeatedly that has triggered everyone. Megyn Kelly took time to look deep into what she recently said. This is not the first time she is saying this. Remember, ABC spent around 12 million to settle this lawsuit for saying the same thing. AIC continue to do this. I don't know if Trump is going to ignore her or what exactly is actually happening here. It is important we take an exclusive look into what is going on exactly. If you have not seen this, first take a look at this.
What do you think of the new leadership, Jasmine, AOC, and Bernie?
I consider Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez to be the leader of the Democratic Party. She's entitled to her opinion. I'm entitled to mine. As I've said about her before, I think she's the reason there are directions on a shampoo bottle. And our plan for dealing with her...
You didn't plan that out. We got to hurry.
Our plan for dealing with her is called Operation Let Her Speak.
Also, the other way I think you can think about it is that we are, perhaps we are in the downfall of the broken way. This was not built to last. Inequity, injustice is not built to last. It lasts a long time. It could last hundreds of years, but ultimately it crumbles into this, a small cohort of incompetent people that create damage. And from that, something new can spring.
Meanwhile,
and we saw this play out this week with Trump's corrupt and disastrous tariff scheme. I hope that we all see now that the White House's tariff shuffle here didn't have anything to do with manufacturing like they claimed. It was about manipulating the markets. It was about hurting retirees and everyday people in the sell-off so Trump could quietly enrich his friends who he nudged to buy the dip before reversing it all in the morning. Donald Trump is a criminal. A criminal found guilty of 34 felony counts of fraud. Of course, he is lying and manipulating the stock market too. He is at his best making himself, the billionaires who back him, and the members of Congress who trade with him rich. Not you, not me, not the people. And to be clear, I don't care what party you are, Democrat or Republican. I don't care what position one holds. Members of Congress and elected officials holding and trading individual stock is wrong. It must end, and we must ban it.
Saying that Donald Trump is a racist. She also thinks he's a racist. He's all the ists. But here, she's in deep trouble because he was not found liable for. And George Stephanopoulos just had to pay ABC some $15 million to President Trump to settle a defamation lawsuit for saying that. She doesn't have any privilege out on the campaign stump. She's not protected by speech and debate while she's out there. And I ask you, Steve, whether Trump should do something about this, because quickly, here she was just in January on social media about his inauguration. Listen to her there.
All these journalists are like, Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Congresswoman, are you going to the inauguration? Are you going to the inauguration? Let me make myself clear. I don't celebrate this. So no, I'm not going to the inauguration tomorrow.
Yes, I believe you've seen this. There is one part I had to trim it off because of, this platform. She is still saying something that Trump didn't do. And not the very first time she is saying that. At a certain point, when I look at this video she has put out, repeating this, some people say Trump might not sue her because she's not worthy enough. Trump don't want to give her that relevancy. Yeah. Because if Trump sues her, she will not have the money to pay. That is what I see a lot of people putting out. Extremely concerning. If you know that things like this can get you into trouble, why continue to repeatedly say that? Yeah, because this speech she is giving out is not protected. Yeah, because it's not any presidential campaign. A lot of people now say maybe this lady will be the Democrat nominee. They are struggling to these people with her. J.D. Evans will beat the hell out of her if she tries.
Yeah, I think he's probably just not paying attention to her. But, think about it.
Well, hold
Delano.
on now.
We
You may
kind
have
of-
also stumbled on something there. That might be the ultimate diss. Like, you're just not even worth the salt in my tears. I have no
Yeah.
idea who you are exactly.
Worth the
You're
salt
not
in
even
my
worthy
tears.
of a lawsuit. Exactly. Yes.
But think about it. Like, we've gotten so used to people saying the worst things about Trump. I mean, truly the worst things that you're kind of like, whatever. But like, if picture like yourself or anyone you know, if you got called that word, you would absolutely sue her. Like it would be so jarring and upsetting and defamatory. There'd be no question that you needed to do something about it. And really, the standards should not change just because you're Donald Trump. Yes, as a politician, you need to take barbs like, he's a liar, he's a bad person. Those are opinions to which she's totally entitled. Stating that he's a statement of fact, which is false and has been rejected by a court of law, and she continues to do it. So what do you make of it?
It's the campaign rhetoric they want to hear. And
Sorry, that was
because
for
here's the thing.
Delano.
Oh, Delano, my bad. My bad.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I agree with Steve. Right, to me the heavier the claim, the heavier the burden of proof in terms of bringing evidence to bear. You just can't go and say things about people. I remember this happened when Justice Kavanaugh was being confirmed, and there was a political analyst on MSNBC who basically said, I'm paraphrasing, he was on Joy Reid's show, so that'll give you a sense of what's coming. He said, Kavanaugh is like all the guys I grew up with, in the sort of DMV area, right? He was the last guy in, a gang rape. And I thought to myself then, I said, I hope Justice Kavanaugh sues this guy under a bridge, because I think people have gotten way too reckless with their words, way too willing to say things and make claims about people that they can't substantiate with evidence. And to your point, Megyn, President Trump is not above the law, but he's not below it either. And this is a standard that I hold across the board, irrespective of political ideology or sort of partisan affiliation.
Yes, I like what he said. I believe AIC has crossed the line. She should be taught a lesson. Yeah. So things like this should not repeat itself. If they continue to ignore this, allowing them to spew all this nonsense and go free with it, they will continue to do that. You don't say this to stir up people. I don't know if this Democrat can learn, because we all saw all this kind of word. Oh, Trump is this. Oh, Trump is this, is that. Still yet people didn't believe they voted for him with all this. So when you continue to spew this thinking there are new talking points, it's crazy. Nobody's even competing with or campaigning with you at this time. AIC struggling to do this at this period, to me, it is insane. I'm in support that she should be sued. Yeah. Concerning the issues of calling Trump, he's a criminal, he's a liar, like Megyn Kelly said, those are opinions. You have right to say that. But don't go to that extent, calling someone to do this. Everyone will get upset with this. Yeah. You will not even be able to listen again. So we are waiting to see how Trump is going to react to this. Oh, he will continue to ignore her. But I just want a lesson. Even she's not to pay money, but she should be taught that you don't say things you can't back up. Yeah, Trump has not been found to be guilty of doing this. So why are Democrats continuing to spew this every single time?
On the all-new Monday Countdown podcast.
That the podcast thing, right? My party's all up in arms about who's our Joe Rogan. We're not going to have a Joe Rogan of the left. That's not how it works.
It's also not something you can conjure
exactly
in the way that, they just think, oh, let's inorganically build this thing. Those positions have been built over time, and they've earned their credibility, and they've earned their authenticity, and they've earned all those things that they have. You can't just poof them into existence.
That's right. But we also, where they are there and where they are willing to give us a hearing, we should show up. Same as I made a habit of showing up on Fox News, right?
Right.
I think we're really struggling to find people where they are.
And by the way, very impactful when you show up in spaces and articulate something that it almost feels novel to them.
Exactly.
To hear it laid out in that way.
Exactly. I could say something. I could be the 10th person to say roughly the same thing on a liberal show. Or I could literally be the first time somebody heard a certain idea if I'm in a more conservative space, which is why right-wing spaces like X and like Fox News, I think, continue to be important for people like me to be in. But we've also got to be finding folks who are not always looking for politics.
People who have other shit to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn me around, ain't gonna let those lousy billionaires turn me around. Keep on walking and keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I wanted to thank Claro for allowing me to get up here.
Thank you guys who has been sharing out my videos. God bless you abundantly. If you see any clips after this, that is just for the YT algorithm.
The only one it could be is Bernie Sanders.
We are moving in the direction of oligarchy.
Elon Musk tweeting this video ahead of the rally with clips of Sanders discussing threats of oligarchy more than 30 years ago.
Well, Elon, you're damn right. That's what I've been talking about.
As you know, 12 days ago, I just wanted to report.
It would be hard to think of a more elegant way to...
How much is enough money?
Rating, and that would ordinarily...
I know better than anybody. Forget about...
Wish the
and
a lot of people who didn't vote.
And finally, new rule to those on the right.
Isn't exactly getting
hoped against hope. Brad Schimmel, that has included Elon.
Saw repudiation. Everybody hid
Trump in this presidency. How does it compare to his first presidency?
Okay, I guess we'll just have to let him rot in a prison, even though he didn't.